Good evening, Bulldog baseball fans, and welcome to WNKX Live on YouTube and the Access Tennessee app, available on all Roku devices. It's round 2 between your Hickman County Bulldogs and the Riverside Panthers. First pitch coming your way here in a few moments. Once again, we welcome you to WNKX on YouTube and the Access Tennessee app, available on Roku. I'm Josh Copley, and I'll be flying solo tonight as we are on the road in beautiful Decatur County as your Hickman County Bulldogs prepare for round 2 with the Riverside Panthers. We can go back just 24 hours ago to last night when these two teams met on Mike Smithson Field at Hickman County High School, and it was all Riverside. Riverside won in 5 innings by a final score of 12-0, and that was a game where the box score really told the entire story. Riverside finished with 11 hits to Hickman County's 3. Riverside made no defensive errors, while the Bulldogs committed 2. And Jace England for the Panthers looked remarkable on the mound. He pitched all 5 innings for the Panthers, and his stat line was impressive, yielding only 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. It's not too often you see a guy get double-digit strikeouts in high school baseball, but Jace England, he was on point last night at Mike Smithson Field. And the Bulldogs, they've been struggling. They really haven't looked the same since the 7th inning of last Thursday's game against Waverly when the Tigers mounted that comeback. And last night, the Panthers would mount a 7 spot in the 2nd inning, and that would be enough to do these Bulldogs in. The temperatures have been warm, but the bats have been ice cold for the Dogs. But they're looking to turn it around tonight to hand Riverside their first district loss of 2026. The Bulldogs 1-2 in the district, while Riverside enters in 3-0. And we can take a look at the lineup for Riverside, the defensive alignment. In the outfield from left to right, in left field it's Landon Wyatt. In center field it's Cole Yarborough. In right field it's Brylan Crawford. At third base it's Ridge Thompson. Shortstop is Colt Brooks. Second base is Landon Vaughn. And at first base is Jace England. Behind the plate for the Panthers is Asher Creasy. And towing the slab is Cody Brasher. Brasher had a good day at the plate last night, looking to transfer that momentum on the mound. As we're about to be underway with first pitch, stepping in, leading off for the Bulldogs, number 1, Aiden Spiegelmeyer. The pitch from Brasher misses up and away for ball 1, and we are underway from Decatur County. Brasher winds and deals. Misses upstairs for ball 2. Spiegelmeyer again resuming that leadoff spot, a true spark plug for this Hickman County team. And if they're wanting to find themselves again, it's going to start with number 1. And he takes a big rip at a miss and a high fastball. Brasher looks to work back in the count, down 2-1. Hickman County did not see all too many base runners yesterday either. Brasher misses away, but they're just 1 ball away from getting the leadoff man on. And number 28, the freshman Braden Chesser, looms on deck. The 3-1 to Spiegelmeyer. He swings, pops it up, and that goes over our heads up on the hill. And the count runs full. Brasher versus Spiegelmeyer to start the game. The 3-2 delivery. Misses way high and off the glove of Creasy, and Spiggs works a leadoff walk. And in yesterday's game, Braden Chesser was one of the 3 base hits for the Bulldogs. He has been such a reliable piece for Coach Deshane's squad, and he's somebody who can really play anywhere as well defensively. We've seen him mostly at the hot corner at third, but he's also mixed in at second base as well. He squares to bunt. Third baseman charges, is essentially right in front of Chesser. And had Braden slashed and pulled one in his face, that could have been a bad story for Riverside's third baseman. The first pitch from Brasher was over for a strike. Spiegelmeyer decent lead off first, big secondary, and Chesser swinging a miss at a breaking ball downstairs. Brasher way ahead 0-2 after losing the leadoff man to base on balls. Chesser shortening up. The throw in the dirt bounces, blocked behind the plate by Creasy. And Colby and I have talked about this so much this year, but it seems like nobody in the district is more comfortable hitting with 2 strikes than Braden Chesser. He's so good at working counts, at wearing a pitcher down. The 1-2. And he fouls it into the catcher's mitt. Creasy unable to hang on to it, and it's new life for Chesser. Brasher comes set. Kicks and deals. Spiegelmeyer takes off. Chesser a swing and a miss. But Spigs has an easy swipe of second as the throw bounces up to the covering second baseman. Or shortstop, rather.
Number 4, Lewis.
And it's not too often we see Chesser go down on strikes, but that swing looked more like a protection swing for his runner stealing second, so he still does a job disrupting Creasy just a little bit to get Spiegelmeyer into scoring position with 1 out and John Michael Lewis in the box. Big secondary from Spigs. Lewis takes a ball high. John Michael had a uncharacteristically rough day at the office yesterday on the mound. Spin, pick off to Spiegelmeyer, and he slides back in, and Brasher threw that ball more to the second base side, and if that throws on the money, Spiegelmeyer was hung out to dry. But Aiden slides in under the tag of Landon Vaughn. No harm, no foul, and Lewis ahead in the count 1-0. Brasher, the high leg kick, and Lewis is swinging 1-0. Comes up empty to even the count 1-1. And John Michael yesterday hit probably the hardest hit ball of the game. It just so happened to be right at the third baseman where they would turn a double play to end the first inning when the Bulldogs looked like they were going to build some momentum to start the game. But as they say, that's just baseball. And now Lewis is down in the count 1-2. The pitch from Brasher. Spigs takes off. Swing and a miss by Lewis. The throw's high. And Spiegelmeyer has a couple of steals in the top half of the first inning. And he comes up a bit gingerly after the slide. Might need to rub some dirt on it and get back to business. But Brasher, after yielding the leadoff walk, has struck out Chesser and Lewis back-to-back. So it'll be up to Carter Bates with 2 outs in the first inning to get that runner in from third. Brasher back to the windup. Bates takes high and away for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch. Misses away for ball 2. And the sun's beginning to set here in Decatur County. Half the field covered in shade, the other half in sun. Might be problematic for some of these defenders. The 2-0 to Bates, and he chases for strike 1. And Brasher dropped a little bit of off speed. Bates clearly sitting fastball. The 2-1. Bates takes for strike 2. Dotted by Brasher, and he's only 1 pitch away from escaping with no runs. The 2-2. And Bates has to jump out of the way, evens the count at 3-2. Or it runs the count full, I should say. The 3-2 pitch. Bates, chopper to third, fields the hop, Throw on to first, in time. And after the leadoff walk, the Bulldogs go down in order to send us to the bottom half of inning number 1. And Riverside is set to take their first cuts of the game. And while they do, let's take a look at the Bulldog defensive alignment. First, with the outfield from left to right. Playing left field is number 14, Major Qualls, back in his normal position. In center field, number 1, Aiden Spiegelmeyer. And Spiegelmeyer is so valuable out there in center. Nobody reads fly balls like he does. And with his speed, he's able to track down a lot. He's able to track down what most other fielders would not be able to, and he's one of the main reasons this Bulldog outfield is one of the very best in the district. And rounding out the outfield in right is number 7, Wyatt Bates. Taking a look at the infield, also from left to right, at third base, it's number 28, Braden Chesser. Playing shortstop is number 4, John Michael Lewis. At second base, it's number 5, Carter Bates. And at first base, it's number 24, Kylan Seal. Behind the plate for the Bulldogs is number 12, Braden McCaleb, made his return to the diamond last night. And he's really been trying to shake the rust, I suppose, if you want to put it like that. He's also been recovering from that injury, the chainsaw wound to his upper knee. And most normal people would be out for a number of weeks, but Braden McCaleb, not just any ball player. He is a tough son of a gun. And on the mound for your Hickman County Bulldogs is number 32, Jackson Warren. And if there is anybody you want to give you longevity, to give you strikes, to give you efficiency, it's Jackson Warren, and that's exactly who Coach Deshane is going with in this second district game of the week. And the first pitch is over for a called strike to the Riverside leadoff hitter, Cole Yarborough. And he, much like many of his teammates, were able to find ways to get on base. And we saw Yarborough and several other Panthers take 3 at-bats before some Bulldogs were even able to see their first. Count even 1-1. Warren pulls off, misses away for ball 2. The 2-1 pitch, skied to right field. It's a blooper. Coming in is Bates, and it drops in for a leadoff single for Cole Yarborough. And that's been part of the course for these Riverside hitters. They weren't making just all that solid of contact last night, but they did a good job of letting the ball get deep, poking it the other way, and just finding places where defenders were not. And on top of some of the walks that Lewis surrendered yesterday, some balks, Riverside played good situational baseball, putting the ball in play when they needed to push some critical runs across the plate. So now Yarborough, modest lead off first for the 2-hole hitter Landon Vaughn, and he takes strike 1. Warren doesn't bring a lot of velocity, but he's good at keeping runners honest on the base paths. He utilizes a slide step, really leans on that pitch out as well, and with McCaleb behind the dish, we know how good his arm is. It's going to be hard for Riverside to steal on these Bulldogs, but let's see how aggressive Coach Quinn wants to be here early. 0-1 to Vaughn. Nobody going after a big secondary by Yarborough, and that fastball misses way high for ball 1. Warren gives a look over to first. Yarborough leaning towards second, doesn't go. And the fastball misses low and away by Warren. And we saw Brasher have some similar issues on the mound in the first inning with where the sun is setting, where the catcher's throwing it back to the mound. I probably have some visual impairment. And the 2-1 pitch misses downstairs for ball 3. So Warren, after yielding the leadoff single in danger of putting 2 runners on with nobody out, Landon Vaughn can afford to be selective. High leg kick, Yarborough takes off. Pitch called for a strike. The throw by McCaleb is a good one, but still well late, and Yarborough will swipe second. And in the first few innings yesterday, we saw McCaleb have to get acclimated to making some of those throws from home plate to second, even from home plate to first on drop third strikes. But that throw down we just saw looked like the Braden McCaleb of old. The 2-strike pitch just missed away, and Vaughn works the walk. It's first and second with nobody out for the Panthers for the 3-hole hitter and first baseman, Jace England. England, the pitcher from last night, who also showed his proficiency with a bat in his hand. And he has an opportunity to do some early damage. Warren's first pitch is over for a called strike. Bates holding on Yarborough at second. Seal playing in front of Vaughn at first. Chesser a few steps behind the third base bag. The 0-1 pitch misses high and away for ball 1. And man, how nice would a ground ball double play be in this spot for Jackson Warren. Delivers, and that ball's roped down the right field line, but into the rocks. Foul. England way out in front. And that's what makes this Bulldog pitching staff so good and so effective, is that you can have a guy that throws as hard as John Michael Lewis one night, and then have a guy like Jackson Warren who may not throw as hard, but really good at hitting his spots, and it's really good at mixing up hitters' timing. The 1-2 misses in the dirt, speared by McCaleb to even the count 2-2. Spin back to second, Bates covering, but Yarborough back in easily. The 2-2, up and away, count goes full 3-2. And after seeing how England handled the inside pitch, smashing it foul, Warren trying to work away. 3-2. England chopper to first. Seal's only play is to take it himself. So England grounds out to first, but he does move 2 runners over. Yarborough now stands at third. Vaughn at second with 1 out for the cleanup hitter, number 33, Ridge Thompson. Thompson, one of many left-handed batters in this Riverside lineup. And it was in the first inning last night that Riverside was able to put up that 3 spot, and there would be much more where that came from. But based on how cold the bats were for the Dogs yesterday, 3 runs were plenty enough to win it. The other 9 were just cosmetic. Misses the first pitch to Thompson high, second pitch on the way. Again, misses upstairs for ball 2. And when you have a big bat like Thompson, you don't want to throw him a cookie over the heart of the plate. If you walk him, so be it. You set up the force at any base, or you get him to do that, and he takes a big swing and a miss. The 2-1. Turned, fair ball down the right field line, and it goes past Wyatt Bates, and it'll roll all the way to the wall. And Thompson in standing at second base for a 2 RBI double. And that was just a great swing by Thompson. Kept the hands inside, stayed back long enough to keep the ball fair, and those 2 runs scoring were academic. Now a runner stands on second for Riverside's pitcher and 5-hole hitter Cody Brasher. First pitch from Warren misses high for a ball. And the outfield playing a relatively normal depth. Spiegelmeyer might be shading a few steps back. Thompson doesn't just run exceptionally well out at second, so a ball hit hard in the outfield. I wonder how aggressive Coach Quinn's going to be in sending his guy home. Cody Brasher rocking the immaculate mustache. I got to give credit where it's due. Now Spiegelmeyer shades a few steps in the left center. The 1-0 by Warren misses low and away for ball 2. Kicks and deals. Brasher skies that one into foul territory. Chesser moving over, and it hits off the stomach of John Michael Lewis. No, that's Carter Bates out at short. Just some miscommunication, and that ball hung up in the air for a while. So I want to make a correction from the starting lineup I read off earlier. It is Lewis at second, Bates at short. Chris Seal just turned and looked at me and said, I had to change it too, so I'm glad to know I'm not alone. Coach DeShane's keeping us on our toes. The 3-1 pitch to Brasher. Ground ball to third, and Chesser blocks up the short hop. What a play. Throws it across the diamond for out number 2, and a phenomenal play by Chesser at third.
And back number 1, Brian Crawford.
That was one of those hops where you just have to keep your body in front of it because you don't know how it's going to kick off the lip. And Chesser just keeping himself in front of it, staying low, making a strong throw over to Seal at first. So now with 2 outs and Brylan Crawford at the plate, Warren with a chance to limit it to 2 runs. Pops that one foul just over our camera. And that was one of the concerns of this setup. Don't get me wrong, I'm loving it. We've got our own little concrete slab up here to the right of the press box. You get the whole view of the field. I had to recruit 6th grader Bryson Chesser to guard me from foul balls. And Bates wears that off the face, but hangs with it. A nice job of resilience. Stays with it, makes the throw to first, and that ends the first inning. Riverside 2, Hickman County nothing. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Bulldogs to start the second inning. And it begins with the first baseman, Kylan Seal. Kylan Seal had a generational performance on his 17th birthday last Thursday on the road against Waverly. Was only a triple shy of the cycle and blasted a home run over the left field fence. Seal looking to get back in that groove, trying to ignite some sort of fire for this Bulldog offense that has been dormant since Thursday. It only took Cody Brasher 21 pitches in the first inning, gave up no hits, 1 walk, and recorded a couple of strikeouts against Chesser and Lewis. And other than that leadoff walk to Spiegelmeyer, Brasher has looked really dialed in so far. The problem against Spiegelmeyer, it seemed like he was missing his fastball high, but since then has made the proper adjustments, and he's really been hitting his spots. But now Kylan Seal steps into the box for his first time. Brasher winds, and first pitch swinging, and Seal skies it into the infield. First baseman calls it, and England makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out in the top of the second. Now for the Bulldogs, it's number 9, Andy Kraft, in the 6th hole, trying to start a 1-out rally. Way up as that ball makes a trip to the backstop. The 1-0 to Kraft. In there for a called strike. The 1-1. Off-speed pitch, Kraft sits back, skies it to center. Yarbrough coming in, and he makes the catch for out number 2. And now it's Braden McCaleb. McCaleb's been trying to find that swing that he had before his injury. And prior to his stint on the IL, McCaleb was one of the best run producers on the team, but now it seems like the Bulldogs can't even get base runners for him to knock in. But on top of being a stellar run producer, McCaleb was also just a hit machine. Really good at sitting back and driving the baseball up the middle hard. And there is nothing that he would love more than to get back to it. That ball lined into center field, dropping fast, and just on cue, Braden McCaleb with a single into center field with 2 outs. So now Wyatt Bates, and of all the Bulldogs that struggled yesterday, Wyatt Bates wasn't one of them. He kept finding ways to get on base, whether it be through base hits or walks. He didn't seem fazed by the moment or by the scoreboard. But that's really who Wyatt Bates is. He's a ball player through and through. And he gives it his all every time he's on the field. Takes a first pitch strike from Brasher. And Ruger Toddy in the courtesy run for McCaleb at first. And Bates fouls the 0-1 pitch straight back. And Ruger Toddy, one of the most high IQ base runners on the team. And in baseball, it's not always about just straight speed. It's about how well you read line drives, how good of secondaries you can get without getting picked off. The 0-2 pitch misses low to Bates for ball 1. The 1-2, Toddy takes off. Breaking ball misses. Throw down to second, and it gets away and into center field. Landon Vaughn couldn't quite dig it out. A great jump by Toddy. And with a 2-2 count to Wyatt Bates, the Bulldogs have a runner in scoring position. And if Bates can replicate that swing from last night, the Bulldogs might find themselves on the board. The 2-2. And Bates swings at a fastball up in the zone, comes up empty, and he goes down on strikes. So McCaleb reaches with a 2-out single, but that'll be all as we're on to the bottom half of inning number 2. And Riverside isn't exactly a walk in the park, a leisurely stroll down the road. It takes about an hour, more or less, depending on what part of the county you're from. But any drive is worth it to watch these Bulldogs play some baseball.
Leading off Riverside, the bottom of the second inning, number 28, Coach Quick. Riverside Lady Panthers are winning 28 against Riverside Lady Panthers 2-0.
The first pitch from Warren in the bottom of the second misses downstairs for ball 1. And number 28, Colt Brooks, the shortstop, steps in to take his first cuts. It'll be 7, 8, and 9, the bottom third of the order due up for the Panthers. Brooks skies that one to center. Spiegelmeyer moves a couple of steps to his right and puts it away for the first out.
Now back number 25, Landon Fry.
And at bats like that is really when Jackson Warren's at his best. Pitching to contact, letting his defense work, getting quick outs. Now it's number 25, the left fielder Landon Wyatt. He's first pitch swinging, and he lines it in the left field for a 1-out single just out of the reach of shortstop Carter Bates. And with a pitcher that pitches to a lot of contact, occasionally you will have at-bats like that where a hitter's able to square something up, put it into the outfield. But now with the catcher, Asher Creasy, digging in, Warren needs another one of those ground balls to get out of the inning. He had a couple last inning, the ground ball to third base that Chesser fielded, and the ground out to the shortstop Bates. Pretty decent lead off first. First pitch to Creasy misses high for a ball. Wyatt leaning towards second. Short secondary, and Creasy's way out in front for strike 1. Warren a look over to first, and it gets away from the first baseman Seal. Wyatt hops up to his feet quickly, and he takes second base standing. A misfire from Jackson Warren on the pickoff, and now Riverside all of a sudden has a runner in scoring position with only one out. And Seal playing it on the grass at first. Chesser playing a few steps behind the bag at third. Ground ball to third. Chesser. And it takes a tough hop, and it's going to roll into the outfield. Qualls coming in quickly to pick it up. And now Riverside has runners at the corners for the leadoff man, Cole Yarborough. And that's why they call it the hot corner at third, ladies and gentlemen, with all the right-handed batters. If they get out in front of a ball, hit it hard Chesser's way, especially with the lip between the dirt and the grass, plays like that will just happen. We saw Chesser make an incredible play in the first inning on a wicked hop. But now with runners at the corners, they put him in motion. And it's first pitch swinging. That ball hit deep to left field by Yarborough. Qualls makes the catch. Wyatt tags at third, and he'll score. Pretty good contact by Yarborough, but a great read by Major Qualls, moving straight back to make the catch just shy of the warning track. And Warren's got 2 outs on the mound. Your score now Panthers 3, Dogs 0. And the runner at first who broke had to retreat back to first. Now it's the 2-hole hitter Landon Vaughn. First pitch, misses up for a ball. Looked like a pitch out from Warren. Vaughn walked and came around to score his first time. Squares to bunt, pulls back. Ball 2. The pitch, weakly hit to the second baseman Lewis. He shuffles over to the covering Bates at second for out number 3. So Warren able to hold Riverside to only 1. Riverside 3, Dogs nothing. But Hickman's going to have to get the bats going if they want to take home a win in this one. It's 9-1-2. Do it for the Dogs when we come back. It'll be number 14, Major Qualls, the left fielder, getting things started for the Bulldogs in the top of inning number 3. So far, Brasher, through 2 innings, has only given up 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts on 33 pitches. Brasher looking to keep up the efficiency. Third baseman playing in on the grass, guarding the bunt. Oh, and Qualls takes one off the cleat, might have got him in the ankle. And he hobbles down to first to visit Coach Shelton, and it's a leadoff base runner for the Dogs. And if Qualls can just take some time to walk it off to rub some dirt, It's good to have a runner with his wheels on the bases, at least when he's fully healthy and not having to nurse a hit by pitch. Qualls decent lead off first. High leg kick from Brasher, and Spiegelmeyer takes a first pitch strike. Spiegelmeyer worked a walk to lead off the game. He was able to get around to third base, but no further. Brasher a couple looks to first, slide step to Spiegelmeyer, and it's in at the knees for a called strike 2, and Spigs shakes his head. Surprised we haven't seen any action from Major over at first. There he goes. Spiegelmeyer ground ball, a perfect hit and run. Qualls shoots through second, throw to third, and he's upstanding. Aiden Spiegelmeyer with a single, and now the Bulldogs have runners at the corners for Braden Chesser. And the Bulldogs are 90 feet away from scoring their first run since Friday. And few better guys to have up than Braden Chesser. Time called at the plate by the umpire. The catcher requested it, and he runs through his first and third signs. Decent lead off first for Spigs. High leg kick, delivers. Chesser first pitch swinging and chops it down to his third base coach, Coach DeShane. And I can't imagine it would be too long before Spiegelmeyer takes off from first. Spigs takes off. Chesser swings, bashes that ball to left field. Left fielder under it. And Spiegelmeyer is going to be hung out to dry, and he's doubled off at first. But Major Qualls tags, and he scores. So the Bulldogs are on the board, but you'd wish it were under better circumstances. The bases are clear with 2 outs now for John Michael Lewis, went down on strikes. First pitch misses low and away for ball 1. Breaking ball. Lewis hits it hard, foul, and Coach DeShane skips over it. The 1-1 Brasher back in the windup. Lewis swings again. Right at Cody DeShane. Keeping his skipper awake. The 1-2 to Lewis. And Lewis pops this one up behind second base. Vaughn drifting back. He makes the call, and he makes the catch to end the top half of the third. The Bulldogs able to push across 1. They still trail by 2. It's 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Panthers in the bottom of the third, starting with first baseman Jay Singlin. In England's last at-bat, he had runners on first and second with nobody out, hit that weak ground ball to Seal, which ended up moving the two runners over into scoring position, which would result in a couple of runs later. But he's 0 for 1, takes the first pitch up and away for ball one. And he pops this one straight up. Jackson Warren under it, calls off the rest of his infield, and he makes the catch. So it only takes 2 pitches to take care of Jay Singlin. And now it's Ridge Thompson. Thompson had one of the biggest swings of the game so far, had that line drive double down the right field line, plated a couple of runs. But now he's up with nobody on and 1 out, which is about all you can ask for if you're a Bulldog fan. The 1-0 pitch misses down and in for ball 2. Thompson way ahead in the count, 2-0. Warren working quickly. And that one smoked into right center field. Bates giving chase, and it's down to the wall. And Spiegelmeyer takes a tumble, and Bates there to get the ball in to his cutoff man Lewis, and it's a 1-out double for Ridge Thompson, and he has been swinging a hot bat today. 2 doubles in 3 innings. And now with 1 out and a runner in scoring position, the 5-hole hitter, Cody Brasher. Brasher is 0 for 1. He grounded out to Chesser his last time up. First pitch, high chopper, and Chesser can't field it clean. Sneaks under his glove, and Brasher reaches, runners on the corners with 1 out.
Now bat number 1, Brian Crawford.
Tough break for Chesser out at third, and time is called by the field umpire. I believe, yes, they're trying to get a courtesy runner for their pitcher. And it'll be number 19, Luke Eason, courtesy running for Brasher. It's Brylan Crawford. Runners at the corners. First pitch, pops it up, and it's foul over the first base dugout. Crawford also 0 for 1. He grounded out to Carter Bates at short to end the first inning. Pickoff takes a look at Eason, and he dives back in head first. Runner breaks for second, ball low, bodied up by McCaleb, and Eason takes second without a throw. Second and third now with 1 out, and the Bulldog infield will be playing in, I think. Yes, they will be. Warren back to the windup. Chopper to short. Bates takes a look at third. Throw to first. And it's a perfect pitch by Warren. Perfect execution by the Bulldog defense. The runners stay put, and now there's 2 outs in the bottom of the third for Colt Brooks, the shortstop, who's 0 for 1. Now the infield can play back for the play at first. Ball in the dirt, great block again by McCaleb. A low throw back to Warren. Doesn't get too far away from him. Squares to bunt, pulls back. Pitch is low for ball 2. The 2-0. Brooks takes a swing, comes up empty for strike 1. Warren trying to keep Brooks out on his front foot. The 2-1 pitch. Misses downstairs for ball 3. And standing on deck is Landon Wyatt, who singled in the left field his last time up. The 3-1 misses away for ball 4. Base is now loaded for Wyatt.
Now bat number 25, Lyman Black.
Wyatt hit an absolute rope in the left field, and if he can do that again here, it'll more than likely be a couple of runs. First pitch misses low and away for ball 1, and for Warren on the mound, he's got nowhere to put him. Swings, fly ball to left field, should be routine for Major Qualls. He makes the catch, and the Panthers will strand the bases loaded after some marvelous execution on the bump by Jackson Warren. So we're on to the 4th. Riverside 3, Dogs 1. It's 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Bulldogs. Carter Bates, Kylan Seal, and Andy Kraft. And hopefully the last inning can be a bit of a confidence boost for these Bulldogs, able to manufacture a run just to see something positive on the scoreboard for the first time in a few days. Hickman County is able to record a couple of hits on the night. And this is the heart of the Bulldog order. If they want to get something going, it starts with these 3 guys here. And of course, going back to how Riverside ended the 3rd, stranding the bases loaded, that can be a big momentum swing too. Riverside, if they're able to execute at the plate, drive a ball in the gap, plate 2 or 3 runs, it obviously looks drastically different than what our score currently is. Dogs only trailing by 2. And we know how good this offense can be. 2 runs is nothing to the Bulldogs. You just wouldn't think that if you've seen them recently. They just have to find that identity once more. And I think we have some headlights on in the parking lot. And now is where you would hear the Jeopardy music start to play as we wait to resume action. It's funny, everybody in the ballpark has their heads turned back to the parking lot. And now the headlights are off, and we can start up play in the top of the 4th. First pitch from Brasher skips up to Creasy for ball 1 to Carter Bates. Bates Takes a fastball dead center for strike one. The 1-1 breaking ball. Bates doesn't bite, and he's ahead in the count 2-1. The 2-1 again. Brasher going right at Bates with a heater. Count evens up 2-2. Another fastball misses in the dirt. Bates again not chasing. Runs the count full 3-2. And on 3-2, Bates, a half-hearted check swing, called strike three anyway, and it's 1 up, 1 down for Brasher on the mound. And Brasher, who's looked really good tonight, one of his only problems were really giving up leadoff base runners and able to nullify that, striking out Bates. It's Kylan Seal for the second time, way ahead in the count 2-0. Seal is 0 for 1. And Seal ropes that ball into left field for a 1-out base hit. Thompson and Brooks had essentially no time to react on the left side of the infield as Kylan got every stitch. So now it's a 1-out base runner for the Dogs. And now it's the designated hitter, Andy Kraft, who's hitting for pitcher Jackson Warren. Kraft, that low hand batting stance. Brasher steps off, and now Creasy comes out to have a conference. Kylan Seal, another good base runner. Very smart, very high IQ on the base paths. Exactly who you want on in this spot. Might not have the speed of someone like a Major Qualls, but he'll very seldomly run into any unnecessary outs. Big secondary. First pitch to Kraft. A fastball misses upstairs for ball 1. Andy Kraft, much like several others in this lineup, is 0 for 1. Pickoff move to Seal, and he's back in standing up. The 1-0 pitch misses just outside for ball 2. Great eye by Kraft. High leg kick from Brasher. Skips up to the plate. Blocked by Creasy. Kraft way ahead in the count in the driver's seat, 3-0. Seal only a couple of steps off first. Brasher kicks and deals. This one over the heart of the plate for strike 1. But still, Andy doesn't have to be overly aggressive. He can still look for his pitch in his box. The 3-1. Brasher misses up and in, and the Bulldogs are in business with 1 out.
Now back number 12, McCaleb.
It's first and second for the Bulldogs. Kylan Seal at second, Andy Kraft at first. A couple of good base runners for the returning Braden McCaleb. And of the three Bulldog hits, McCaleb is one of them. He's 1 for 1 with a single to center field his last time up. Would love another one here. First pitch by Brasher. And McCaleb, first pitch hacking, and he fouls it into the catcher's mitt. The 0-1 McCaleb pops it up. Thompson at third, infield fly is called, and he makes the catch for out number 2. So a big pitch by Brasher to retire the ever-dangerous Braden McCaleb. And now he's just 1 out away from stranding a couple of Bulldogs on the bases. And now it's Wyatt Bates who's 0 for 1. Bates went down on strikes the last time he was at the dish. First pitch, misses down for ball 1. And I know it's only in the 4th inning, but this feels like such a huge moment in this game. Spin, look back at Seal, but he's back in on his feet. The 1-0. Bates smacks that one to center. Center fielder going back, and he makes the catch. So Bates got a hold of it, but Yarbrough on the back pedal, able to put it away. And the Bulldogs strand a pair as we're on to the home half of the 4th. Still Riverside 3, Hickman 1. Jackson Warren is entering into his 4th inning of work. He's given up 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, 2 walks, and has yet to record a strikeout. But if nothing else, Jackson has kept the Bulldogs in it. If we take you back just 1 inning ago, he delivered a big pitch to get the fly out to left field. And that fly out to left field stranded the bases loaded. And now it's Asher Creasy. He's 0 for 1 tonight. The first pitch of the 4th by Jackson Warren misses away for ball 1. The second pitch is skied to left field in the foul ground. Qualls shading over, and it's out of play. He almost got there. Creasy really collapsing on that swing, dropping his back shoulder. Really seems to be Warren's specialty. He's good at eliciting those off-balance swings from hitters. The 1-1 misses upstairs, but Creasy thought about it for a moment. Warren up to 57 pitches. Again, misses tall. And he's in danger of walking the leadoff batter down in the count 3-1. Warren gets a swing at a pitch up in the zone. Spiegelmeyer charging in. He's under it, and he makes the catch. So 1 out for Riverside as their lineup turns back over to the top. It's Cole Yarborough. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI and a base hit. First pitch misses high, and it kicks out of the glove of McCaleb. That ball line to right field. Bates charging, and he makes the play. Wyatt Bates on the move. And now it's 2 away for the Bulldogs. And Jackson Warren trying to get a 1-2-3 inning. Now he has to contend with the 2-hole hitter, Landon Vaughn. Vaughn is 0 for 1. He's worked a walk. He squares to bunt and fouls it back. And the umpire removes the mask. It might have caught him. And I thought he would need to take a breather, but he's already right back into position. Now Braden McCaleb doing the courteous thing and going out to talk to Jackson Warren. Of course, probably not too much to this conference other than let's let the umpire collect himself. Chesser playing in on the grass. Line drive to left field. Qualls. He makes the catch. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jackson Warren. All 3 flyouts. The first one to Spiggs in center. Then one to right with Wyatt Bates. And it ends with a line out to Major Qualls in left field. So all 3 outfielders getting some play. And we're on to the 5th inning. Hickman County looking to rally. Down 2, 3-1. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Bulldogs to start the 5th inning. Major Qualls will be the leadoff man. And they call the 9-hole the second leadoff spot, and for good reason. Major Qualls has played that position well this season. And he did that already once in this game. Started the inning off with a hit by pitch, and he would eventually come around to score in the 3rd inning. He would score on the Braden Chesser sacrifice fly. And so far, Cody Brasher back on the mound, and he's worked for 4 innings. He's given up 3 hits, 1 run, and that run was earned, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Qualls squares to bunt, pulls it back. Misses upstairs for ball 1. The third baseman, Thompson, playing way in on the grass, now gives some steps. Qualls again, takes high and tight. Ahead in the count 2-0. And Qualls being one of the only left-handed hitters on this team, it definitely gives pitchers a new look. We've spent the whole game getting acclimated to throwing to right-handed batters. Now all of a sudden here comes Major Qualls to throw a wrench into it. And that's a real thing for pitchers on the mound. They have to work those spots just a little bit differently. And Qualls is swinging 2-1, pops it into the infield. Brasher calls it himself, and he makes the play. The lineup turns back over to Aiden Spiegelmeyer. He's 1 for 1. He's singled and walked. Takes a big cut at the first pitch of the AB. Misses it for strike 1. Pitch number 2 to Spigs, bounces, and it goes all the way to the backstop. Braden Chesser playing the role of Mr. Nice Guy, helping out the umpire. Count even, 1-1 to Spigs. Fouled back, 1-2. A 1-2 breaking ball from Brasher. In the dirt, Spiegelmeyer lays off, count even, 2-2. And the 2-2 to Spigs misses inside, perhaps a little bit high as well. It's even, 3-2. Hickman County just needing a next man up mentality, needing base runners with the tying run still on deck. The 3-2 misses well high, a non-competitive pitch. Spigs didn't even have to think about it, and he works the 1-out walk. And with the good speed over there at first, maybe we'll see some action. Chesser hit a ball hard to left field his last time up. It resulted in the sacrifice fly, but Spiegelmeyer also got doubled up on the play. Pick off to first, in on his feet. And you love seeing the Bulldog dugout helping their base runner, everybody collectively yelling back. A tradition as old as time. High leg kick. Spiegelmeyer, big secondary, but no steal attempt, and it's over for strike 1. The pitch to Spigs, a check swing by Chesser on a breaking ball up in the zone. Fouled weakly down the first base line. So now Chesser behind in the count, 0-2. Maybe now we'll see the hit and run. Spigs takes off. Fastball high. Chesser goes down swinging, but Spiegelmeyer able to steal second. with 2 outs, and now John Michael Lewis at the plate.
How about number 4, Lewis?
And if you're the Bulldogs, you have to find some way to push that runner across. Lewis doesn't have a hit today. He has struck out. First pitch breaking ball drops in for a strike. And the field umpire calls time. And I believe he dropped something out of his back pocket behind the mound, some object obscuring play, so the umpire picks it up, puts it in his pocket, and we can resume. The 0-1. Lewis takes in the dirt. Spiegelmeyer breaks. Creasy's throw to third. Not in time. An aggressive break by Spiegelmeyer, but a fantastic read. And Creasy's throw misses up the line a little bit. And a picture-perfect slide by Spigs. Brasher back in the windup, 1-1 count to Lewis. Lewis ground ball to short. Backhand play by Brooks. Throw to first. And Lewis beats it out for an infield single. Wait a minute. He called Lewis out. He didn't make a break. You have got to be kidding me. Now, the runner did score, or he should have scored, because Lewis did beat the throw. It wiped out the force. That is absolutely brutal. So the Bulldogs pull within 1 while Coach Duchesne has a conference with the field umpire. If anything changes, we'll be back to let you know. So we do have an update for you. They have taken the run off the board. So not only was the call missed at first, that is unbelievable. I cannot believe what we have just seen. That is unbelievable. So now your score is Riverside 3, Hickman County 1. And I always try to give the benefit of the doubt, ladies and gentlemen, but there's no excuse for that. So Lewis wasn't called out on the forced throw to first. The umpires said that he made an attempt to second base, and he was tagged out, which wasn't a force play. The runner at third crossed well before Lewis was tagged out. And remember, it's no longer a force, so the run stands. Now, if he was thrown out straight up at first base, yes, the run is taken off the board, but he was not. That was not the call on the field. So, really just a head scratcher all around. So it's tough luck for the Dogs. Now, the scoreboard again says 3-2, so we have no idea what the actual score is. The umpire said 3-1. So I guess we'll just go based on what they're saying. We'll say 3-2. The 1-1 pitch. So after that chaos, the 3-hole hitter Jace England steps up. He's 0 for 2. Pops that one foul out of play over the Riverside bleachers. Well, they're still making changes to the scoreboard, so maybe it is going to be 3-1 after all. I don't know what's going on. England takes slow for a ball. Counts full 3-2. Misses down and in for ball 4 at the knees.
Number 33, Lee Thompson.
Now it's the red-hot Ridge Thompson, number 33. He's 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles and a couple of RBIs. He has certainly been the player of the game for Riverside and really across the board from both teams. Takes strike 1 from Jackson Warren. Pretty decent lead at first for England. Pickoff move to first, ends safely. High leg kick, the pitch to Thompson, misses in the dirt. Nice block by McCaleb. One goes back to the slide step. That ball is blistered back up the middle for a base hit. So now Riverside has first and second, nobody out. And yes, indeed, it is 3-1 Panthers and not 3-2. And now Riverside is in business in the bottom of the 5th. That's Cody Brasher. He's 0 for 2. But he's been pitching a heck of a game on the mound. Spin, pickoff, move back to first. Lewis wasn't really covering, but he's able to get there to receive the ball either way, and England's back in easily. First pitch to Brasher, misses downstairs for ball 1. The 1-0. Brasher swinging away, fouls it back into his own on-deck circle. Count even 1-1 to Brasher. Brasher takes just inside off the plate and perhaps a little high. Ball 2, he's ahead in the count, 2-1. Brasher, a big rip and a miss, pulls his head out. Now it's 2-2. Warren, almost a must strikeout spot here. The 2-2. Off speed, called, strike 3. So 1 out now for Riverside. Runners still on first and second for Brylan Crawford. Crawford's 0 for 2. Seal playing in front of the runner over at first. Chesser playing about even with the bag at third. Lewis holding on the runner at second. First pitch to Crawford, in there for a strike. And a big rip and a miss by Crawford, and Warren's way ahead 0-2. The 0-2. Blooped into right. Bates coming in hard, makes the catch. So after the first 2 men reach base, Warren has retired the previous 2 and just needs to go at Colt Brooks to escape the jam. Brooks is 0 for 1, and he's worked a walk. Thompson over at first, England at second. First pitch to Brooks. He squares to bunt, pulls back on a pitch that misses way up and away. The 1-0, squares again, pulls back, again and called a ball. Again squares to bunt, puts it down the third baseline, and it rolls foul. And Brooks hasn't swung it exceptionally tonight, but when you have speed like he does, bunting is a pretty good way to go about it. Seal in on the grass at first. Chesser giving him some steps at third. The 2-1 misses down for ball 3. Warren needs a strike. The 3-1 popped him up. Warren makes the call. He makes the catch. So the first 2 men reach But that's all. Warren is lights out. And now the Bulldogs need some offense, down by 2. It's 4, 5, and 6 when we're on to the 6th. So we're ready to go for the 6th inning, starting with Carter Bates. And the Bulldogs need base runners, down by 2, 3-1. And time is running out. Sharply hit to third, fielded by Thompson. Throw on to first, in time for the first out. That's a tough break for Bates. Hit the ball pretty hard, just right at somebody.
Now bat number 24.
It's quickly 1 up, 1 down for the Dogs. First pitch to Seal, called a strike up in the zone. The 0-1 to Seal, check swing. Whether he went around, it was called strike 2. The 0-2 pitch, Seal skies it in the left field. Left fielder coming in, and Wyatt makes the catch.
Now bat number 9.
So it's a quick 2 outs for the Bulldogs in the top of the 6th. And now the omen falls onto Andy Kraft to start a 2-out rally. The first pitch, way high for a ball. And Kraft lines it sharply foul over the first base dugout. The 1-1, way high, and Andy has to duck out of danger. Kraft is 0 for 1, but he has reached on a walk. The 2-1, Kraft chases a pitch up in the zone. Counts even 2-2. The 2-2 pitch again. Kraft chases high, and the Bulldogs are down in order, 1, 2, and 3, and they only have one more inning left to try to mount a comeback. But we're on to the bottom of the 6th. It's 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Panthers, and Jackson Warren will try to keep it right where it is. Jackson Warren was able to tightrope walk his way out of some danger in the bottom of the 5th, gave up 2 leadoff base runners, and then retired Riverside in order. It'll be 8, 9, and 1 for the Panthers, starting with Landon Wyatt, the left fielder. This is Wyatt's 3rd AB. He's 0 for 2 so far. First pitch, ground ball, foul. So Wyatt's able to make some good contact, but it just misses. And now it's 0-1. Warren deals, misses in the other batter's box for a ball. Warren has been a workhorse tonight, closing in on 90 pitches. Again, missing away. Wyatt ahead in the count, 2-1. Outfield shading to the left. The 2-1 pitch misses high, 3-1. The 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, count full, 3-2. The 3-2 pitch, popped him up. Wyatt collapses, drops the back shoulder, and it's an easy play for Kylan Seal over at first. Now it's number 17, Asher Creasy. The Riverside catcher is 0 for 2. First pitch swinging, and he fouls it into the dirt. The 0-1 misses high for a ball. Again, Warren misses high. The 2-1. Outside corner. Had Creasy and Knotts. Count even 2-2. Line drive. Out of the reach of John Michael Lewis, and that's going to go to the gap. Spiegelmeyer slides to cut the ball off. Quickly gets it into Lewis, and it's a one-out double for Asher Creasy. So now the Panthers are in business. Number 7, Cade Roach, in the courtesy run for Creasy. And now Coach DeShane making a mound visit. Perhaps we'll have a pitching change. And we do. He hands the ball off to Carter Bates. And that ends the day for Jackson Warren. And what a day it was. The final line for Warren, he went 5 1/3, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of those earned, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout. He threw 96 pitches, 49 of which were strikes, and he faced 27 batters. So an efficient night for Jackson Warren, just unfortunate that the offense hasn't gotten much behind him so far. Now there is still an inning left, and Coach DeShane is turning to one of his most reliable arms in this district game, Carter Bates, and this just shows you how much Coach DeShane values this game, how much this game means to the Bulldogs. And Carter inherits a runner on second. So if that run were to come around, it would go against Jackson and not Carter. But you'd rather cut out the middleman and strand him altogether. We've seen Bates give so many quality innings already this year. One of the most prominent outings he had to be last week. More specifically, last Tuesday at home against Lewis County. John Michael started that game. It wasn't the best of starts. But then Carter came in to pick him up, gave some great innings, and kept the Bulldogs in it, in which they would eventually come back and win 13-12. And maybe Carter's also that good luck charm for the offense. If he takes the mound, maybe these guys will start hitting behind him. Because if they want to split the series with Riverside in district play, they're going to need some late game heroics. And it starts with Carter working out of this jam as he now has to contend with the top of the lineup, Cole Yarbrough, who swung it pretty well today. He's 1 for 3. He came across to score, and he's also driven in 1. Roach runs pretty well out at second as the courtesy runner, so any ball in the outfield, Coach Quinn will probably try to push the envelope. And at 8:08 p.m., we are closing in on the 2-hour mark. This game has relatively flown by, much more of a pitcher's duel than last night. But Hickman County has started showing life late in this game. They have had more runners reach base in these last few innings than they had altogether last night. And Riverside's probably not going to be satisfied with a 2-run lead going into the 7th. First pitch to Yarbrough, misses low for ball 1. Yarbrough pops it foul into the seats of Bulldog fans. Yarbrough hit that ball off the handle. The 1-1. Fly ball to center field. Spiegelmeyer shades back. makes the catch. Runner tags for third, throws it into Lewis. Throw to third. Nice pick at third by Chesser. But Roach is able to advance 90 feet. And now the Panthers have a runner on third with 2 men out. And now it's Landon Vaughn. He's 1 for 2 with a base hit. He's also walked. And this is a big spot. Bates looking to keep it at a 2-run deficit. Vaughn looking to widen the lead. Chesser cheats in at third, anticipating bunt. First pitch misses up and in, buzzing the tower of Vaughn. The 1-0 pitch. High, ball 2. The 2-0 in there for a strike. Bates delivers. Breaking ball in the dirt. A nice block behind the plate by McCaleb. We've seen that already several times tonight. McCaleb, really the personification of a brick wall behind the dish. The 3-1. And Bates goes right at him, just misses outside. Has to ask himself, where'd that miss? So now it's runners on the corners for Jace England. England's 0 for 2. He's worked a walk. And England is a very dangerous hitter in his own right, but the last thing you want to do is put him on with Ridge Thompson on deck, who's a perfect 3 for 3, 2 RBIs, 2 doubles, and a single. Carter Bates has to get England here. First pitch, runner breaks. Breaking ball misses low. McCaleb blocks it up and has to run halfway to the pitcher's mound to hawk the ball down. And Bates hasn't quite found the grip on his breaking stuff yet tonight. Of course, it is still a small sample size. Fastball misses high. This is where the Bulldogs need Carter to bear down. Down on the count, 2-0 to England. In there. Called strike on the inside corner. And Bates coming set in a hurry. And the umpire calls time. Or more specifically, he grants time to England. And Bates loves to work fast. Again, he delivers. Misses up and in for ball 3. I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher work as fast as Carter Bates. The 3-1 needs a strike. England swinging 3-1 and pops it foul over the press box. 3-2, huge pitch coming. The 3-2. Breaking ball. Lost control of it. Missed it high. Bases are loaded for Ridge Thompson.
Now bat number 33, Ridge Thompson.
And the Bulldogs really have their backs against the wall. And if you're Carter Bates, you can't groove him something down the middle, but you can't lose him either. First pitch to Thompson, takes inside, ball 1. And the air getting real thin for Bates out there on the mound. And McCaleb calls time. And I think he was signaling for the dugout, wanting a mound visit. No coaches have made their way out there yet. So now we just might see McCaleb try to encourage his senior pitcher. And this is a nightmare scenario for the Bulldogs. Riverside's best hitter at the plate. Bases loaded, 2 outs in a 2-run game in the bottom of the 6th. The 0-1. Swing and a miss by Thompson. And he was way out in front. Almost down to a knee. Bates working quick again, 1-1. Take strike 2. And he's 1 strike away from getting out of the jam. The 1-2. Just missed up and away, and McCaleb was setting the glove high, trying to get Thompson to chase, but he's not biting. 2-2. 2 outs, bases loaded. And Bates steps off. We usually see him work so fast, but now he wants to take a moment to slow things down. The delivery. Breaking ball. Good pitch, but even better discipline. So the count runs full 3-2 with the bases loaded. You need to execute 1 pitch. The runners will be in motion on the pitch. 3-2. Popped him up. And it's back foul out of play. So we'll do it again. The 3-2 payoff pitch. Missed him high. And that'll walk in a run. Bulldogs down 3, 4-1. So now it's Cody Brasher, 0 for 3 on the night. He struck out once, but has a chance to do some real damage here. Takes the first pitch strike on the outside corner. Chopper to third, foul ball. Nice backhand by Chesser just in case, but ultimately for naught. But Bates is way ahead on Brasher, 0-2. The runners have to retreat back, but Bates already locked in on the rubber, ready to go. Shakes the sign, now delivers. The 0-2. Missed it up and away. Brasher doesn't chase. 1-2 the count. Foul tip, but McCaleb can't hold on to it behind the plate. So we'll do the 1-2 pitch once more. Brasher staying alive. Bates delivers. Might have lost control of the breaking ball, missed it high. Count even, 2-2. And Bates goes right at him with the fastball. Strike 3 called. And he limits the damage to only 1 run. The Bulldogs down by 3 are going to need some 7th inning magic. They've got 3 outs left to play with in round 2 of this matchup between Hickman and Riverside. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Bulldogs, McCaleb, Bates, and Qualls. And a lot of times, you'd rather have the top of your lineup up in a big spot like this, but the Bulldog bottom third, they've been so valuable, so important to this team this season. They have generated so many big-time rallies. And it's going to start with Braden McCaleb, the hind catcher. Cody Brasher on the mound, looking to finish off the complete game. The Bulldogs went down 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. Can't afford that here in the 7th. And Hickman County's pitching has kept them well within striking distance. The offense just hasn't gotten much going. First pitch to McCaleb. Takes up and in. And we haven't heard much life out of him so far, but now we hear a little bit out of the Hickman County dugout. The 1-0 to McCaleb. And he swings at a ball up in the zone for strike 1. So even down 3, not yet implementing the take till you get a strike. The 1-1 to McCaleb. Again, swings at a ball up and out of the zone. He's down 1 and 2. Oh, and a check swing by McCaleb. No appeal needed. And it's a less than ideal start for the Bulldogs in the top of the 7th. Perhaps a little overly aggressive. The first pitch to Wyatt Bates goes flying into the net. Bates is swinging, pops it up, fading out of play, and it drops in behind the dugout. Count even 1-1 to Wyatt Bates. Bates, who looked pretty good last night, is 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout. The 1-1. Misses up and in, ball 2. And if Wyatt Bates was watching that last at-bat carefully, Brasher was working up in the zone, maybe even out of the zone, and you can't afford to help him here. Tries to overcorrect and misses too low and a little away for ball 3. Now Bates in the driver's seat, 3-1. Misses high, ball 4. So the Bulldogs have a runner on with 1 out, but the tying run still in the on-deck circle. And if you're Major Qualls, you can't do too much. Just settle down, keep the line moving, and give the top of your order a chance. Now, Qualls has swung a pretty good bat these last few weeks, but I do wonder, based on the defensive positioning, do we see maybe a drag bunt? Pretty good speed over there at first in the form of Wyatt Bates. Brasher comes set. Kicks and fires. Misses up and away, ball 1. And personally, I'm probably not taking until I get a strike. High leg kick. Misses in the dirt, ball 2. Brasher gives a look over to Bates at first. Kicks and fires. And he misses way over the catcher Creasy, and that goes to the backstop. And Bates can jog up to second. And it looks like the Riverside coach is a few steps out of the dugout. We might be on the verge of a pitching change depending on how this next pitch goes. 3-0 from Brasher. Missed it up and in. That's ball 4. So it's 2 one-out walks issued by Cody Brasher, and that'll probably be the end of his night. Now we just wait to see who Coach Quinn goes with to try to put this game away. And it looks like they're going to keep riding with Cody Brasher. So maybe the coach just wanted to give him some time to settle down, to cool off a little bit, to settle back in. But now the tying run is at the plate, and it's the leadoff hitter, Aiden Spiegelmeyer. Spigs already has a hit tonight. Second baseman creeping, tries to pick off at second, but Bates is back in. Spiegelmeyer is 1 for 1, a base hit and a pair of walks. Needs to find another way on base here. Brasher's first pitch, swung on and missed. Pretty good spot. Not sure if that would have been in the zone. But Spiegelmeyer up there to do some damage, trying to be aggressive. The 0-1. And that one's popped a mile high. Way foul. And Spiegelmeyer has to be mindful of the pitch up in the zone. He's way behind in the count, 0-2. Brasher comes set. The 0-2 pitch, breaking ball. Misses just low for a ball. 1-2. That's a stone cold take by Spigs. He's a better man than I. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. And that's 2 outs. And the Bulldogs are down to their last. Tying run at the plate. Qualls at first, Bates on second. And it's the freshman in a huge spot, Braden Chesser. Braden's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Did have the sac fly RBI earlier in the game. And he's first pitch swinging, fouls it back into the net. And usually that's a sign that he's on it. Hickman County trying to stay alive. Chesser takes, back pick to first, and he slides in safely. And Qualls' hand just got back in there. And that was a pretty heads-up play by Creasy, I have to be honest. I'm not sure if anybody in the ballpark was expecting that. But the count's even 1-1. Brasher delivers. Misses high for ball 2. Now Chesser in a good hitter's count, 2-1. The 2-1 to Chesser, check swing. Runner breaks for third, it's high, and he slides in safely. So the home plate umpire does say Chesser went around on the check swing. Runners on the corners, Hickman County down to their final strike. Brasher comes set. The 2-2. Qualls breaks. Chesser, fly ball to center. He's under it, makes the catch, and Riverside sweeps the Bulldogs in the weekly series 2-0. Your final score from Decatur County, Panthers 4, Bulldogs 1. And you could argue day and night about the potential controversies in the game, but the fact of the matter is Hickman County's offense just did not do enough to win the baseball game here tonight, and they have been riding a rough stretch going back to last Thursday. This is now the 4th loss in a row for the Bulldogs, while Riverside has been red hot. But Hickman County's going to have a quick turnaround. They play again on Thursday. They host Cornersville at Mike Smithson Field on the campus of Hickman County High School. And it's a chance to build some momentum. The Bulldogs will have to bring their A game, whether or not it's a district game. At this point, you just need wins. You need wins to build off of, to get your morale back, to get your mojo back. That goes for these pitchers, the defenders, and especially the hitters. But Riverside's a heck of a team, and they are still unbeaten in the district while the Bulldogs fall to 1-3 in district play. A final look at the box score. Hickman County had 4 hits to Riverside's 6. Hickman County committed 3 errors. Riverside committed none. Jackson Warren is handed the loss as the pitcher. He went 5 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of those earned, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout. Carter Bates pitched 2/3 innings, no hits, no runs, no earned runs, a few walks, and a strikeout. Jackson Warren finished with 96 pitches. Carter Bates finished with 27. Now a look at Cody Brasher, who went the distance, the complete game victory. Went 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, and that run was earned, 5 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Again, your final score from Decatur County, Riverside 4, Hickman County 1. We thank you all for joining us here on WNKX, whether it be on YouTube or the Access Tennessee app. We love supporting these Bulldogs, and we appreciate all the love and support you guys have shown us here at the radio station. These have been an absolute blast, and now it's time for that dreaded hour-plus drive home. But fear not, we'll see you on Thursday at Hickman County High School as your Bulldogs host Cornersville. But until then, I've been Josh Copley, bidding you all adieu. Goodbye.